This is Gustav, developer of TupiTube. Welcome to our channel. Today is Monday and this is our workshop number 12 for TupiTubers. I want to start saying thank you to our crew, the guys that used to get connected to our live transmission. So thank you so much to Adi Gamer, to Anki Road, who is newbie in the channel, very welcome. To Casey Lovely, that is just joining. The other guys, anyway, sorry I forgot your name right now, but thank you so much for being part of this, for joining the transmissions, for making me feel that this is worth and that you enjoy the content we are creating for you guys. Okay, I really appreciate if you help me to know if the sound is working okay. If you can hear me, please. I will give you some seconds, so please let me know in the chat if my sound settings are okay and if you can hear me. Thank you. Well, for today, as I mentioned in the title of the video, we are going to work on fight scenes, which is... Oh, thank you so much, AD Gamer. You can hear me? Okay. So let's skip with the workshop. For today, we are going to work with fight scenes, which is a complex topic. Of course, we are going to work with the Stickman because it's the easiest way to start animating characters. That's the reason. So today we are going to do two exercises. The first one is quite simple. We are going to work with particles. We are going to simulate these particles or characters. So it's a very basic exercise, but I think it is a good way to start dealing with several elements in the scene, because in the previous workshops we always have been animating one character, one element at the time. But what happens when in the scene there are several elements, there are several characters moving in different ways at the same time? So this will be our first challenge, and the second one will be a fight scene with a Stickman, of course. This is a scene of Dragon Ball Z, so don't worry, we are not going to go so far today. I just want to add this image to make it funnier, but that's the deal. That's the deal. Anyway. Oh, hello, Abhinav. Thank you for joining the transmission. Okay. So today I want to start showing you an example of a very professional animation made by Fabiano Cruz. We are going to watch just a few seconds of this animation. I want you to pay attention to it. So let's check it, okay? Oh, Tails, you are joining the transmission. Welcome as usual. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's start paying attention to a few seconds of this fight scene, okay? Okay, that's pretty enough. If you pay attention, this animation lasts around 3 minutes. 3 minutes. This is a very huge project. I want you to see this to understand the size of a big project related to a fight. Why I'm doing this? I'm doing this because newbie users used to believe that animating a fight is an easy stuff, and it doesn't. The truth is, it doesn't. This animation lasts 3 minutes. To make something with this quality can takes you easily several days, even weeks. So I just want you to be aware that animate fight scenes, it's a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of hard work. So this is what I want you to understand as the first lesson of this workshop. Because why it's so challenging animating fight scenes? Well, as you saw in the example, there are different elements moving, different characters moving into the scene at different speeds, with different effects, with different movements. So dealing with that used to be really hard. And for that reason is that we are going to start making a very basic exercise with particles, just to start understanding how to deal with different elements into the same scene at the same time, frame by frame. Oh, Jason is joining the transmission. Thank you so much. I always miss you, so thank you for joining, Jason. Oh guys, you makes me really happy to know that you are there. Tails, Casey Lovely, AD, Jason, Ankit, all that I mentioned before, and all the that are connected and I don't know your name yet. Okay, so it's time to start with our first exercise, so let's do it. We're going to start animating particles. It's a very basic exercise. Let me start a new one, a new project. Okay, what we are going to do in this first example is to animate two particles, one coming from the left and other coming from the right of the screen, and then they are going to collapse in the center of the scene, and then they are going to go away in different directions. That's what we are going to animate right now. This is a very good start to develop our skills animating different characters in the same scene as it is required in a fight scene. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I'm going to use TupiTube app for this exercise as usual. Now I'm going to pick a background color, let's say some kind of blue that I like to use, maybe something like this. For the fill color I'm going to use white, and for the black color I'm going to use black. Okay, so for this example I'm going to add at the beginning I'm going to start drawing the keyframes of the animation. Ari Gamer is asking, do you know Alan Baker Jason? Yeah, I know who is he. It's a great animator and I love the work he does. Okay, let's start with our first exercise then. So my two particles, I'm going to start coming one from here and one from here. As I mentioned before, I'm just going to animate the keyframes at the beginning. So let's add a new frame. They will come on this direction, more or less, and in this direction more or less. Now, this is the challenge of this exercise. We will have to add two elements in different places, moving in different directions at the same time. So that's the challenge, and that's the goal of this exercise, to work on that skill. And it's not so easy as you can imagine. You will know it when you try to do it. So let's add a new keyframe, and in this frame my particle will go like this, and my other particle will go like this. If you want to, you can imagine that both particles are characters. Imagine that they are characters for a moment, and that they are coming to fight, if you wish. Okay, at this point I'm going to draw the frame where the collision occurs between the particles. They knock in this frame, then I'm going to add a new one, and now after the collision they're going to go far away, each one in a different direction. So this object will go in this direction, and this object will go in this direction. Now I'm going to add a new frame, my objects will start spinning around because they just hit each other. So let me add the different positions. They have to follow. As I mentioned before, it's really hard for me to animate for you so fast, because usually it takes me a lot of time making my animations, but I don't want you to get bored, so I have to go faster. Okay, these are the the basic frames of my animation. Excuse me. So let's check my FPS value. I'm going to work with 12 frames per second as usual. Of course, I only have drawn 7 frames, so I need to draw a lot of more. But let's see what's going on right now. Okay, and now I have the general idea of the animation. So now all that I have to do is to add in between frames to make it look better. So let's do that. I'm going to insert a new frame forward, and I'm going to add my particles once again in different positions. Let's see how it goes. Let's add a new frame right here. Let's add the other particle right here. Let's keep going. I think we can add another frame right here. Now let's add a new frame right here. I'm going to modify the structure of the particles when they crashes. Now they go away at this point. Let's add another frame right here. Let's see how it goes. And just another frame. Believe me, this is harder than you think. I mean, drawing different objects at the same frame, moving in different directions, making different movements, like in a fight scene. So that's the reason I am proposing this example as the first exercise, because I want you to try this. Okay, let's play it. Well, it's not perfect, but it gives you an idea of what I want you to do. Now, what happens if we are dealing with 3 objects, with 4 objects? That's the challenge of this exercise. I know that the result is not so impressive, it's not stunning, but the goal of this exercise is not in the result. The goal of this exercise is about the procedure, it's about developing the skill. For example, in this example I have serious problems about acceleration values in some of the segments, because I wanted to look more natural. It should look more natural. Maybe if I add more in between frames I can make it more realistic. But in these workshops my main goal is to show you the procedure so you can reproduce this example. So I want you to try it. I want you to do as many exercises as you can of this example. Of course you can make variations, your own versions of the exercise. I mean, try to use more particles, try to design different roads for the particles. But in any case, you will notice that it's really hard to make it looks natural. But as I mentioned before, I think this is a very good idea to start developing the skills required to make a good fight scene. Okay. Guys, give me a second while I fix some problem I have with the sound. Give me just a few seconds. Okay guys, I am back. I'm sorry, I have a little issue with my sound card, but I am back now. Okay, now we have made our first exercise. This is some kind of warming up exercise, so we can be ready to animate a more complex exercise. So let's go to TupiTube Desk to work on the second part of the workshop. For this part, I'm going to show you 2 examples I already made of animations representing a little part of a big scene. As you noticed at the beginning of the workshop, a complete fight is a work that will take you several days to make it well. Depending on the duration of the short film you want to make, it could take weeks. Okay? So let's start with the first exercise of the second part of the workshop. Let's start doing a preview of the exercise. But before, let me change better the sound settings. Okay, so let's watch a preview of this exercise we are going to analyze. It is just a kick, and that's it. That's the concept we want to animate, and this could be part of a bigger short of a fight, right? But if we want to create something large, something really bigger, we need to start making little parts of the fight. So this is an example of this is a little part of a fight. So let's understand how I did it. I create several scenes of this scene just to show you the procedure, okay? So let's start with the scene 2. If you pay attention to the scene 2, I only have 3 frames. This is how I started this project, drawing just 3 frames. So with these 3 frames, I could define the general structure of the scene I want to animate. So let's play it with an FPS value of 1. So if you want to, you could consider this part of the procedure as the planning of the animation, because I'm just drawing the keyframes, the very basic frames of the scene. Just 3. Now, once I had these 3 frames, I had a reference about where the characters are going to move, how they are going to move, and it will give me some hints about the speed I have to apply to every character depending on the position and the moment of the scene. Now, what's next? Well, it's pretty easy. I have to draw the in-between frames. So let's take a look to the scene number 3. In the first part, I draw 3 frames. In the next one, I draw 9 frames. So now we will have a better reference of the movement of the characters. Let's pay attention to the preview of the scene now with 9 frames. Now it starts looking like an animated movement, right? Now you can understand what's going on in the scene, but of course it's very rough. It requires a lot of job. So now that I have this second version of the scene, now I will be able to add all the frames missing that I need to add to make it look fluid and very natural. Oh, let me define one page, one frame for the onion skin settings. Now we can check it one frame at a time more easily. This is the finished scene using 28 frames and using an FPS value of 12. If you are going to use a settings, a different setting for the FPS, if you want to animate using 24 frames per second, well, it will require a lot of more work and it will be more complex. Okay, this is the first exercise of the second part of the workshop, so I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it on my profile as fight exercise number 1. And now we are going to open our second project. So we are going to analyze another fight scene. Remember that all these projects will be available in my profile on TupiTube.com. By the way, I wanted to show you some exercises made by Juan David Coronel, which are a very good animator, and he is young. He is a kid, but it's making really nice stuff. So I want you to watch some of his exercises because I think this guy has a lot of talent. Okay, let's get back to the second part of the workshop and let's analyze the second exercise. Let's start watching the final result of the animation. This is some kind of wizard with a special power, and he is hiding away the other character. For this animation, I have to animate 40 frames using an FPS value of 12. So let's take a look at the procedure I follow to animate this little component of a short film. Okay, let's start with the keyframes. These are the keyframes I create to start animating this scene. So when you define the keyframes, you have to express the main movements of the characters in that scene. So that's what I'm doing here. As you can see, you will need a very few frames to represent the general script of that specific scene. Let's take a look of the scene using an FPS value of 1. equals to 1. So this is how it looks when I just started to animate the scene. Now let's take a look to the next step when I added several in-between frames. Okay, let's take a look so we can see how it looks. Now you will see a more fluid movement of the characters, and of course that is just part of the procedure. This is not the final result. Let's take a look to the animation using an FPS value of 2 and creating just 13 frames. So this is how it will look. Now when you have made several in-between frames like I did in this example, well, you will be able to start working on the final version of your animation, and it will look like this, something like this. Okay, now I'm going to post this exercise on my TupiTube profile, so you will be able to download it. Fight exercise number 2. Let's post it, and in few seconds this will be available on our media platform. So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. As you can see, the examples are already on my profile, available on my profile, and of course, and as I used to mention, the source file of the animation will be there, so you can download it and open it from your desktop computer using TupiTube Desk. So you can study, you can modify the scene if you want to, and please try to repeat the exercise by yourself. That's the way you can develop your skills as animator. Just pay attention to the second scene. It's already available there. The source file is right there, so please feel free to enjoy those resources I made for you. Okay, that's all for now. This is a very complex topic. I just wanted to make an introduction for you so you can have some elements to start animating your first small fight scenes using Stickman, of course. I hope this session was useful for you guys, and that's it. I'm checking in the chat and there are no questions for this workshop. Anyway, I hope you made the exercise, guys. So it's time to make my last announcement for this session. As usual, I want to remind you that the project has a Patreon page, so if you like the TupiTube platform, if you like the content we are making for our YouTube channel, you can support our project contributing from just $1 per month. So you are very welcome to help us. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this workshop. And that is it. My final words, as usual, keep animating. I see you in the next video.